Your local election headquarters. This is Big Country Politics on KTAB.
All right, welcome back to Big Country Politics again. We're joined by Dr. Paul Fabrizio, a political science professor at McMurray University. Thanks again for being here. And we talked about the weather response and how we've been covering weather, how the city has been covering weather. But amidst all of that, we're in the middle of a runoff election.
Yeah, city council. You know, this has been, I would argue, a low-intensity election.
Which
it didn't start out that way.
It didn't start that way.
It started out high intensity with the Facebook posts of Kyle McAllister and the response to it. But that was back in January. That seems like a different era.
It does, doesn't it?
It really does. And here we are in June in the runoff race, the one runoff race, and it's been overshadowed by the weather. Just like we just spent that last segment talking about the weather. Yeah. Now we're getting to the election. Who we elect is going to have an influence on
the response
to the weather. So it's important, but it's hard for those two who are running to be heard in all the noise about the weather. Okay, think about all the rain we've had this past week and the damage it causes, you know, and that just piles on to what we've already had. So the two city council candidates, first week of voting, are trying to get their voices heard.
By the way, we should say Corey Clemens and Kyle McAllister, who's the incumbent.
Yeah, they're trying to get their voices heard, and it's being drowned out by, oh no, more rain, thunder, flooding, trees falling.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, you say that, and we sent the reporter out when early vote had started, and we talked to both city council members. Usually that would be pretty much top story, but it wasn't that.
Yeah, it's not the top story.
No, it's weather.
And that's to the detriment, I would argue, for both candidates. Because both candidates have legitimate positions that I think need to be heard. This is an important election, and it's hard to get their voices out there.
Having said that, this is a conversation that I've had a couple of times. You know, you're out and about doing your job. Hey, who do you think's going to win the runoff election? And, you know, and you have a conversation about it. One conversation I had was, okay, are the same people that voted, are they going to go out and vote again? And if they do, who are they going to get behind? Are they going to get behind Kyle McAllister? Are all of those voted who for the other candidates going to get behind Corey? Or are they going to go out again and vote at all? I don't know. Like you said, it's lower intensity now, not as much attention on there. So are as many people going to go out and vote?
Yeah, and looking at early voting this past week, it seems to be about 70% of the turnout from a runoff election last year, 70–80%. So it's significantly less. Yes. There's no other way around that. And partly because this is not a high-intensity election. Also, we have to remember school's out.
Yeah.
So people are thanking vacations, that sort of stuff. So who will turn out will probably be the people who voted for Corey Clemens and Kyle McAllister in the last election, but there'll be less of them who will turn out. And I don't anticipate there will be many new voters who didn't participate the first time. They're still eligible this time. And I doubt that many supporters of Miss Alvidrez will be going and turning out to vote.
Here's another conversation I had. The election day is on a Saturday. Does that make a difference? I mean, you're on a weekday. You're already out. You're dressed. You're out at work. You're going to come home. You're going to stop off, vote, go home, or on the way to work. Saturday, I may have to get up, and that's the reason I may have to get up and get dressed is to go vote. I mean,
you can't vote in your pajamas?
I guess I could, but I'm afraid people would take pictures of me. But I'm sure that makes a difference, right? I mean, it's got to.
See, it's one of those things I'm not sure.
Yeah.
We complain about people not voting, and most of our elections are on Tuesdays. Okay?
Exactly, yeah.
Which, in one sense, is a horrible day to vote because most people have work, most people have school, so they have other things to do. And so we complain about the turnout of like a presidential election when 60% of the country only turns out to vote. So the suggestion by the good government people is that we either make Election Day a national holiday or we move it to the weekend. Well, here in Texas, our local elections are on the weekend and our turnout is pretty horrible. So my sense is that people really want to vote. They're going to do it regardless. And an awful lot of people simply are not invested in the election. They're accepting of whatever happens, so therefore they're just not going to participate. They're just not invested in it.
We've got about 30 seconds left, and I think that people feel, and I kind of understand this, that, hey, you know, no matter who's in there, they're going to go in the direction that they want to go, that they continue to be going in, and is my vote really going to make a difference? And
or is the city going to continue doing what it's doing, and I'm okay with that? So in other words, my vote really isn't going to change things. So one could be a negative, my vote's not going to make a difference. Another would be a vote of confidence in the city by not voting because the city's going to continue. In other words, many of the people, my guess is, who were affected by the tornado didn't vote. I mean, the reality is most of the city didn't vote.
Yeah.
But the city still continues to take care. So therefore, what difference does it make who's on the city council? I don't like that attitude.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, but that's a real attitude on the part of some people.
That's right. Well, all right, they're wrapping us up.
Okay.
Dr. Paul Fabrizio, thank you very much for being here. All right, that does it for this week's edition of Big Country Politics. For the latest in political news, go to bigcountryhomepage.com and join us next Sunday, same time, same place for Big Country Politics. Thanks for watching.